He did show some accuracy. None of that was enough for the Browns and Kevin Stefanski to feel that he needed to jump up the depth chart.
Opener and his floater down the sideline to receiver Luke Floria later are proof. Until we see Sanders get practice reps with the number one offense, we can't believe the Browns view him as having much of a shot to be the number two. See, you keep telling me what Shedeur can't do. Well, your job as a coach is to put players in position and find something that they can do.
The Cleveland Browns just lit a firestorm across the NFL, dropping Shedeur Sanders right after his jaw-dropping performance and making an insane QB pick that nobody saw coming. The decision has sparked one of the hottest debates in football right now. Is this bold strategy or a massive mistake that could haunt Cleveland for years?
I didn't think he even touched a ball, though. He was not holding a ball. He did not even lob a ball prior to, the regular practice. No reason to loosen up. He was shut down today. In all likelihood, he will not play. I mean, it's inconceivable that he would play, although the Browns haven't said he's ruled out.
The Browns just made a move that has the entire NFL world talking, and not in a good way. After watching Shedeur Sanders light it up in a live game, they still chose to push him aside for Dillon Gabriel.
And he's confident. He's polished. His pocket presence, his mannerisms. I know what it should look like.
This wasn't just a surprise. It was a decision that left fans stunned, analysts baffled, and the locker room buzzing with disbelief. The word shocking doesn't even scratch the surface.
That 74% completion percentage, which led the FBS last year, that wasn't just because he didn't want to throw the ball away or he didn't want to complete a Hail Mary. That is legit accuracy that he has.
Sanders had one of those performances that should have made the choice easy. No first-team reps, no help from top-tier starters, and yet he delivered with accuracy, poise, and the kind of red zone execution coaches dream about. He wasn't just managing the game, he was controlling it. You could see it in every snap, calm under pressure, smart decision-making, and throws that put points on the board. That's not the kind of outing you ignore, but somehow the Browns did.
Looks like Dillon Gabriel and Tyler Huntley for Saturday against the Eagles, and that's it. They don't want to play Joe Flacco, so it's kind of the same routine as last week in Carolina, only the other rookie will probably go 3 quarters.
Dillon Gabriel, however, 3 for 14, one of his worst days of camp, period.
And here's where it gets even harder to understand. Dillon Gabriel's body of work during camp tells a completely different story. With Sanders sidelined, Gabriel had the spotlight all to himself. No competition breathing down his neck, no excuses. Yet his numbers, 11 completions on 22 attempts, a flat 50%, no defensive chaos, no pressure from the sidelines, and still half his throws missed the mark. That's not a fluke, that's a red flag.
I'm not, let's face it, some of these throws are like you're playing catch, you're warming up.
And when he misses, he typically misses high. And I tend to think that probably goes back to the size as well.
What's now being called one of the worst outings from a Browns quarterback in recent memory. Gabriel completed just 3 passes out of 14. 11 throws sailed off target. 11. That's not shaking off the rust. That's a pattern, and not the good kind. Analysts didn't hold back either, with some openly saying they don't see him ever becoming a legitimate starting quarterback in Cleveland.
The thing I can tell you guys is that if they do not give Shedeur Sanders another start, it is going to be fury like no other.
So why is Gabriel still the guy in the eyes of the Browns? Fans are asking that question louder every day. Social media is full of comparisons, and they're not flattering for Gabriel. When you stack Sanders' live game performance against Gabriel's practice struggles, the choice feels obvious, unless something else is driving it.
Ton that we need to learn from in this game, and we will. We'll coach off of it, we'll teach off of it, and we will learn. I was pleased with how the guys came down here, got their work done in that practice, got the work done in this game, but we got a long way to go, and we're just going to get there by keeping our head down and keep working. But with that, I'll take any questions.
And that's where Kevin Stefanski's comments raised eyebrows. After Sanders' performance, you might expect a head coach to highlight the positives, talk about what impressed him, and maybe hint at future opportunities. Instead, Stefanski zeroed in on what needs to improve, delivering a vague, almost almost dismissive line. A ton to teach off of, that was it. No acknowledgement of Sanders' accuracy, his composure, or his ability to move the offense with guys who might not even make the roster.
Injuries are a massive part of the game. It just is what it is, and you never really want to take an opportunity, and you never really want to, do victory laps when somebody else gets injured.
Meanwhile, not a single word about Gabriel's inconsistency, no breakdown of his poor numbers, no admission that he's been struggling. It's as if the standards for evaluation are completely different depending on which quarterback you're talking about. And for a lot of people, that's the biggest red flag of all.
Pleased with Shedeur, pleased with the offense. Again, not perfect, plenty that we can work on, but I thought the guys did a really nice job of Shedeur and operating, the guys making plays. So again, a ton to teach off of.
Some believe this isn't just about performance. They see the fingerprints of organizational politics all over it. A preset plan for Gabriel that the front office doesn't want to abandon, no matter what happens on the field. Others are pointing at something deeper, a bias that's kept talented quarterbacks like Sanders on the sidelines throughout football history. Whatever the truth is, one thing's clear. This decision isn't sitting right with fans, and it's only getting harder to justify.
Okay, you saying, have we seen enough? Have you seen enough for Dillon? What have you seen from Dillon Gabriel to make you think he can be number 2?
Shannon Sharpe didn't just comment on the Browns' decision. He torched it like a campfire on a windy night. The man was heated. Right from the jump, he went straight for the jugular. You're questioning Shedeur Sanders, but trusting Kenny Pickett. Make it make sense. And the way he said it, you could practically hear the collective from fans nodding along at home.
In a live game, you saw him play the way he played and still question if he can do the same thing when he has the actual starters at his disposal.
Then you had who came in swinging too, almost laughing at the absurdity. You've seen him do it in real games, so why the doubt? And he's right. Sanders isn't some mystery prospect with 0 game tape. The man has receipts. Jackson State, he delivered. Colorado, he delivered. NFL preseason, he delivered. It's like the guy walks into every level of competition, drops his bag, and says, all right, who's next? And yet, the Browns are acting like they've never seen him throw a football.
The fact that he's not getting first team reps with the ones and the twos and still went out there and looked the way he did, what does that tell you?
He getting marginal reps to begin with. Damn the ones and twos, Ocho. He barely getting reps at all.
Both Sharpe and Ooh framed this as more than just one bad coaching call. This isn't about X's and O's, they argued. This is about a pattern of disrespect. A pattern where certain quarterbacks, especially black quarterbacks, have to play twice as well just to be given half the chance. And honestly, when you line up the history books, that argument has legs.
My thing is, he says no reasonable person thinks Sanders will be fully ready to lead a team and consistently attack a complicated NFL defense 3 weeks from now. What about Dillon Gabriel? Has he shown you enough to make them believe that 3 weeks from now he can lead this team against a complicated defense? I digress even further. Has Kenny Pickett ever shown you?
Because here's the thing, the not ready for complex NFL defenses excuse, yeah, that's an old one. Analysts have been calling it out for years as the NFL's polite way of saying, we just don't trust you yet, even when the evidence screams otherwise. And in Sanders' case, he's already shown he can read a defense like a bedtime story. The man's been doing it without top receivers, without a fortress of an O-line, and still making plays.
There's things that we believe in terms of technique and how you do that, and I think it's the young guys in particular, when they're coming from college, they don't have as much work, so I think they're continuing to get better and better.
So is this really about football, or is it about the Browns protecting some preset draft hierarchy? Because let's be real, Gabriel wasn't just picked, he was anointed. And when a team invests in their chosen guy, sometimes they bend reality to make him work, even when the numbers say he's not the answer. That's where the optics come in, and they're not pretty. The uncomfortable truth here is that talent doesn't seem to be the issue. The issue is who they want to see succeed.
But we're going to see Saturday. And I hope Dillon Gabriel gets his opportunity, because I would love to see what he does and what he gives that offense and that coaching staff that believes in him. I'm hoping he gets a fair shot. I'm hoping he does.
And man, the Browns are playing with fire here. If Gabriel starts and falls flat on his face, the PR nightmare will be immediate and brutal. Cleveland fans already have trust issues when it comes to quarterback decisions. We're talking about a franchise that's spent the last 30 years making one bad QB evaluation after another. This could be the next chapter in that sad little history book.
Great catches as well, but he put the ball exactly where he needed to put put it, and he put it in such a way that the receiver could catch it. He throws an eminently catchable football. He knows when to take a little bit of the heat off of it. He knows when to put a little arc on it.
What makes it worse is the opportunity they're wasting. Sanders already has momentum. He's got the fans excited, the media talking, and the locker room buzzing. You can build a team around that energy. Instead, the Browns are ignoring it, and that can fracture a locker room faster than a busted play. Players see when talent gets overlooked, and it messes with trust, not just in the coach, but in the whole organization.
He has a really, really nice touch on the ball. That's probably the thing that I was most impressed with yesterday. That is when you find out what a quarterback is made of.
And let's not ignore the biggest risk here. Sanders thriving somewhere else. All it takes is one team to see what the Browns apparently can't, and suddenly Cleveland's watching highlight reels of the guy they let walk out the door. That's not just a bad decision, that's a franchise-altering mistake. The one that got away hits a little harder when he's leading another team to the playoffs.
He has more than all of the damn quarterbacks. All of the damn quarterbacks. Now, Kenny Pickett is currently hurt.
But here's the kicker. This isn't just about Cleveland. This is about the NFL and a pattern that keeps repeating. The Browns' move fits right into a bigger trend of questionable quarterback picks and stubborn loyalty to the wrong guy. Stefanski might think this is just another roster decision, but it could end up defining his legacy, and that's not an exaggeration.
What Albert said was, Dylan has been ahead of Shedeur, and Shedeur has ground to make up, and he's working hard to get. That is how they see it. You can argue that. You can say that's wrong. Fine.
Fans aren't blind. Social media has been tearing this apart in real time, with side-by-side stat comparisons that make the decision look even worse. It's not just Browns Twitter anymore. National media is sniffing around this story, and they're framing it as a bias test case. That's when you know it's serious.
Then that would be counter to anything we've seen from Shedeur Sanders in terms of how he's conducted himself across a couple of different stops in college football from Jackson State to Colorado. And for somebody that's grown up in the limelight, you knew that being Deion Sanders' son is going to come along with a different degree of scrutiny.
And the fans, they're not sitting quietly. Hashtags are popping up, petitions are circulating, and the calls for Sanders to get his shot are getting louder every day. This isn't just disappointment, it's turning into a movement. At this point, it's more than a football debate. It's about fairness, opportunity, and a fan base that's not willing to be gaslit into thinking this makes sense. If the Browns are right, they'll look like geniuses. But if they're wrong, and a lot of people think they are, this could go down as one of the most avoidable blunders in recent NFL history. And the fallout? Oh, it'll be loud.